Your next presenter, one of my personal favorites, he's an associate professor of mechanics and aerospace engineering at Illinois Tech. Please welcome to the stage, Matt Spenko!
So, I don't know if anybody's told you, but the robots are coming. Not the Austrian accented T-1000s. No. The killer robots won't be here for like 15 more years. These are more friendly robots, like self-driving cars or humanoids that might help your elderly aunt go grocery shopping or quietly steal all of our jobs while we're not looking. Personally, I'm not worried. I'm a tenured professor who builds robots for a living, so I'm all good. But the rest of you, you might want to watch your back. The thing is, though, you have a good thing going for you, and you don't know it. And that is, you live in Chicago. And you may not realize it, but Chicago is like a big fuck you to robots. Westworld Chicago edition is not coming anytime soon. You see, the thing is, everything that a robot needs to do, Chicago makes it hard to do. But what is it that a robot needs to do? Well, three things. It needs to localize. That's where am I in space? It needs to plan paths. How do I get from here to there? And it needs to control itself. What kind of power do I give to my motors? And to localize, robots use sensors like GPS or laser rangefinders or cameras or, let's say, the accelerometers and gyroscopes you might find, say, in that Fitbit you gave your wife for Valentine's Day. Yeah, that wasn't a good idea. So some of these sensors don't work real well in the city. So things like GPS, the signals get blocked by the tall buildings or the overhead L tracks. Have any of you tried to use GPS in downtown Chicago? Yeah, 1 minute you're on the way to the Children's Museum. The next thing you know, you're dodging needles on Middle Wacker Drive. So to get around that, robots will use these laser rangefinders. And these are sensors that shoot out a laser, and that laser beam bounces off an object and comes back. And the sensor times how long it takes for the laser beam to come back. And it gets a sense of how far away that object is. And so these things are used by robots like self-driving cars to locate things like light posts or lane markers on the side of the road. And that works all good and well when you actually have lane markers on the side of the road. Not so good on the Dan Ryan during construction season. The other problem with these sensors is that they're noisy. And so that means that a robot doesn't know exactly where it is. It thinks probabilistically. It thinks, well, I'm probably here, but I could be over here, and I could be over here. And that's one of the things that my lab works on. So we work on proving that a robot can trust its information in the presence of noise and undetected faults. Undetected faults are errors that may have happened, but you just couldn't measure them for whatever reason. You know, it's sort of like Russian collusion. It probably happened, we just haven't proved it yet. So these robots, after they localize themselves, they got a plan pass. And the problem is that robots are programmed to follow the rules, to follow the law. And when you get things like self-driving cars, they follow the rules of the road. And while human drivers are mainly just assholes. Not any of you guys, right? Yeah, I know. But see, the thing is, you kind of have to be an asshole to get anywhere in Chicago. If we had a self-driving car get off the off-ramp in rush hour traffic, it would see the man sort of wandering through all the cars down there and would think, warning, we've got to alert the authorities, this man needs help, stop all traffic. And human drivers just sort of lock the doors, roll up the windows, and don't make eye contact. So when it comes to control, the one thing we have going for us that no other city has is that we've got the beach. And the beach has sand, and we have not figured out how to control robots on the sand yet. It's really, really hard. It's hard to do. So when that robot apocalypse does come, and all those robots make their way through the suburbs and down through the city, we know that we can hold them off on the sand. Unfortunately, that also means that the last remaining humans in Chicago, and perhaps the entire world, will be the coked up options traders on their boats off Oak Street Beach. All right. I'm getting ahead of myself. The killer robots, they're not coming. They're not coming for a while, all right? Mostly these robots are here to help us, all right? They're going to do jobs that we don't want to do, all right? And we look for three types of jobs for robots to do: dirty, dangerous, and dull. Dirty. I don't mind getting dirty a little bit, but there's just some jobs I don't want to do. So the other day I was reading in the paper about the city of London had to get rid of a 130-ton fatberg from their sewers. Any idea what a fatberg is? It's like an iceberg, except it's made up of used toilet paper and congealed grease from fish and chip stands. Who the fuck wants to do that job? I don't see any fatberg unions clamoring to bring back fatberg jobs. Fuck that. I say, bring on the robots. Dangerous. There are over 35,000 automobile fatalities in each year in America alone. Truck driving has the most fatalities than any other job in the United States. We can do better. I say, bring on the robots. Dull. Now, dull's where things actually get a little bit interesting, because when the robots are coming for your neighbor's job, you don't think twice about it. But everybody's job's a little bit dull, at least some of the time. I say, bring on the robots. I got plenty of jobs for them. To that student who's trying to convince me they didn't plagiarize that paper, talk to the robot. To that failing student on the last day of class who came to me, and this is a true story, to tell me, quote, the reason he never came to lab was because he was more advanced than the other students, talk to the robot. To John from the math department who wants to update me on that thing growing on his nose, I don't want to hear that. Talk to the math department, talk to the robot. All right, I admit, there's some jobs out there that it's nice to talk to a human being, right? You don't want to talk to a robot the entire time. I enjoy talking to my barista in the morning when I get my cup of coffee. And anyway, how the hell am I going to build a hipster robot? Not only do I have to build a robot, but I got to make sure its legs are skinny enough to fit in the jeans. I can't do that. All right, so except for the hipster bots, I say bring on the robots. For 500 years, people have complained that new technology takes away jobs. And for 500 years, all new technology has done is create wealth, increase our standard of living, and create new jobs that we never thought would even exist. So bring on the robots and let them take over the dull things in my job. It'll let me spend more time on the things that are really important to me, like spending time with my family, or finally getting around to building that sex spot for my friend. All right, thank you.